So we have the full spoilers for chapter 31 of Boruto 2 Blue Vortex, and Sarada is cooked. Deep fried, roasted, it's done, it's over. But also, there's Damon. Damon absolutely destroyed Mamushi as expected, but we also have some updates on how his reflection power really works, so there's a lot to discuss, but of course, let's start from the top. So my boy Damon is on the cover and the title is Absolute Strength. On page 1, it says that Sai tells the other Jonin not to get in Mamushi's way and to stand down, but to also make sure none of the citizens get hurt. Mamushi is arguing with himself until someone interrupts. On page 2, Boruto confronts Mamushi and tells him that if he wants to know where Ada is, then he should follow him. Mamushi is ecstatic, and this part is a bit jumbled, but pretty much he's saying that Boruto leads Mamushi away, and then the ones that are in Kawaki's area then starts to swarm towards Boruto as well. On page 4, Shikamaru tells everyone to group up in Area A in the east, where Mamushi is headed. Boruto then, for some reason, decides to warn Mamushi about Ada's little brother Damon. And this of course is the context of the Glaze Fest in the prior spoilers, where Boruto goes on to say that he's Ada's guard and he has inhuman strength to an extent that Boruto himself doesn't know, and he's like a demon. Boruto then goes on to warn Mamushi that no matter what he does to Ada, it is best to take out Damon first. If he just devours Ada, he'll have to deal with Damon's rage after. So Boruto is pretty much trying to exploit Mamushi's current lack of intelligence to goad him into fighting Damon. He then says that for some reason Mamushi feels like he knows that pretentious brat quite well. It's dangerous to let both of his palms touch someone other than him. He reflects everything, even killing instinct. Boruto then informs everyone that Mamushi knows Damon's abilities. Ada says that the Shinju seem to know things based on instinct from trauma from their former selves. Inojin then informs everyone that Mamushi is swarming towards Boruto. Kawaki says that he won't let any of them get away. And of course, Team 10 is also heading towards that direction. Shikamaru then asks Sarada how many Mamushi she can take out at once. Sarada then tells him 30. No, more like 50. Shikamaru then said just in case some of them get away, Kawaki and Himawari should also be prepared to launch a widespread attack. He then tells them that Boruto is almost there and asks them if everyone is ready. And that's when we see this horde of Mamushis just flying towards Ada and Damon. He then says here that Mamushi gives Ada a big howdy hello. Ada then recoils in disgust. He then says that Damon tells Ada to dodge. She acts like a girl in front of a swarm of cockroaches, yelling out her disgust as she flies away, which seems to be more like a commentary from the leaker, but we'll see I guess. He then says that Mamushi's clones begin to yell at each other to get out the way because they want to be the one to get Ada. Damon comments that he's an idiot. Mamushi grabs Ada's heel and she screams out in protest and horror. I just love the description by the leaker here, it's just extremely funny. But yeah, it goes on to say that Damon calls Mamushi an idiot for getting reflected by his reflection ability. It then says that since Mamushis aren't coming with killing intent, they have to make physical contact or Damon can't use reflect. Because of course Damon needs to touch someone to reflect attacks. And since Mamushi isn't attacking with intent, Damon can only use that version of the reflection. He then goes on to say that they're faster than Ada, which is referring to them flying towards Ada, and are about to catch up. So Damon tells her to fly lower and he'll counterattack from the ground. Damon then leaps off Ada's shoulders and slams Mamushi with a huge punch. The sound effect takes up the entire page lol. Again, this commentary is just funny. I don't know why people felt the need to say that. But yeah, it says that Damon's kick completely blows off 3, maybe 4 heads off the Mamushi clones. Mamushi then calls him a shitty brat, but while he's mid-sentence, Damon puts hands on him, reflection mangoes his face, and the clone his hands are on also dies as well. So pretty much Damon is touching Mamushi and the other clones are attacking Damon, so those attacks are being reflected onto the clones. So Mamushi is pretty much attacking himself the entire time. He then goes on to describe what's happening. One Mamushi bursts into flames as others' heads explode. Chocho remarks at how amazing it is, while Himawari has a surprised or maybe amazed expression, who knows. But yeah, and 4 Mamushi clones pass over Damon's head. So in essence, the Mamushi clones try to bypass Damon to get to Ada, but Damon leaps up and takes out the clones. Damon then questions the clones if they're really stupid enough to think that they can slip by him and target his sister like that. Mamushi tells him that he needs to die and calls him a brat. So this is kind of funny because, initially they weren't, aiming murderous intent, but when you're telling someone to die, I don't think there's a way to remove that. But anyways, with both palms on Ada's face, Damon calls Mamushi an idiot once again and reflects his killing intent. Heads go flying. Delta then gushes at how amazing it is that their numbers are dropping so quickly. Inojin says they've almost already dropped to half, and it hasn't even been a full minute. Mamushi scolds his other clones to be careful of Damon's reflection. Boruto then joins in and slashes some clones with his sword. Someone, likely Koji, tells him that while the Mamushi clones may be idiots, it's best to not give them an opening. Now finally, on page 26, we have some Mitsuki action. It says that as Mitsuki snakes destroy some clones, Kawaki combos and uses his Karma Seal to boost his attack, which is usually what happens. It then says that Kawaki unleashes a fiery blast. Himawari leaps up and kicks down the remaining clones in the dispersing smoke. Inojin then remarks about how their numbers are dropping, 70, 60, now they're at 50. Shikamaru tells Sarada to use their Mangekyo now, and her eyes change. Sarada starts to hover and says Mangekyo Sharingan. She's surrounded by swarms of Mamushi. Boruto watches as all the clones get sucked up. Sarada's eye spins as she says Ohirume, but she's looking tired. He then shows a close-up of Sarada's head tilting back and her eyes closing, and Boruto of course is shocked by this, so he flies up to catch her, screaming her name in enlarged bold fonts. Like bro, bro is going crazy with the descriptive writing here. But yeah, Konohamaru then looks up in the sky, the spheres close and the clones still remain. She's falling, limp, through the air. Kawaki and Shikamaru then asks what is wrong. Boruto reports that Sarada isn't conscious and he's yelling her name to see if she's okay. He then proceeds to fly away from multiple Mamushis with Sarada in his arms. Shikamaru then asks Delta if Sarada used Ohirume today. Delta replied saying that she used it once and she got a bit faint. Shikamaru thinks it must have happened while comms were cut cause of Koji. Now Kawaki of course gets pissed off because Kawaki's always pissed off and starts attacking, spouting off curses at Mamushi. But that's when it happened. Streams erupt from Kawaki's body. Himawari reacts confused as he falls backwards with a ... exclamation mark, followed by a question mark of his own and a pained grunt. Sumire comments that Kawaki overheated. Amado says damn it, he used too much power. He tells Kawaki to get out of there. Kawaki coughs and Himawari runs towards him, yelling, "Big brother." Delta also tries to defend him, but even though Delta takes one down, they just keep multiplying. Ada even starts to believe that the situation is dire. Konohamaru runs over and asks Boruto if Sarada is okay, but he doesn't take his eyes off of her, still supporting her head. Boruto then harshly replies that he doesn't know if Sarada is okay or not. Inojin says that there's over 1,000 clones now, and they're still increasing. We then apparently have the side text that says, "The missed opportunity turned into a precarious situation. What will Boruto and the others do?" That's where the chapter ends. So yeah, very action-packed chapter that does give us some insight on how Damon's reflection ability actually works. Like you can aim attacks towards him, you just have to decide that you don't want to kill him. So it brings us back to chapter 75, I believe, when Kawaki intended to clobber Damon, which just means to hit him very hard. And that by itself obviously isn't killing intent, but you can also have the intent to kill someone just by punching them. That doesn't mean that you can, but you could want to kill them. So Kawaki's intent to punch Damon being reflected isn't a contradiction of any kind. So if we're being honest, anyone could beat Damon or bypass his reflection. You just have to attack him without intending to kill him, just damage him. So no, Damon doesn't reflect any intent. You can't just think that, oh, I want to slap him in the face and you're gonna get slapped as well. You have to want to murder him with that slap. That is pretty much what it is. But yeah, that's that for that. If you liked the video, drop a like and also consider checking out my video on the 25 most overpowered eyes in anime, or maybe my video on why we love the broken hero. I think you guys will enjoy them. So we have the full spoilers for chapter 31 of Boruto 2 Blue Vortex, and Sarada is cooked. Deep fried, roasted, it's done, it's over. But also, there's Damon. Damon absolutely destroyed Mamushi as expected. But we also have some updates on how his reflection power actually works. Really works. So there's a lot to discuss, but of course, let's start from the top. So there's a lot to discuss, but of course, let's start from the top.